Hello, storytellers. Storytelling Ron. I just saw this film last night. It's a great film. Nowhere. Wow. I was shocked on Netflix. You got to watch this film. I'm telling you. I almost want you to say, well, as a Christian, I almost like want you to watch it with your kids. Maybe like 13 and up. I don't know what this is going. This trailer is moving on to something else. Oh, let me see. This man, I was really impressed. A young pregnant woman named Mia escapes from a country at war by hiding in a maritime container aboard a cargo ship. After a violent storm, the cargo, she's floating nowhere, and she's nowhere in the and it's really well done. At first I was like, is this going to be a immigration, anti-immigration film, pro-anti-immigration film, or whatever, refugee film? No, this like they're fleeing from a police state in Spain. Definitely watch it. Do Spain with English subtitles just for the emotional impact. Very intense. The nudity in it it's real nudity, not like lustful. It's very she's pregnant, so there was quite a bit of it, but it was the right kind. Like I would think, I don't know what 13-year-old boys or whatever, but 13-year-old and up, I think watching it would still like understand even through this amazing, huge tragedy scenes, I was just getting the giddies of pro-lifeness in this throughout the entire thing. It's an amazing film. You should watch it. It's really good. It really shows like the beginning too, man. The police state, like what's going to be like under Democrats. What's going to be like when they really gain control. The fascists. That's what they're doing. The Weimar Republic in Germany fell because the police were unable to control the youth and the communists sabotaging the cities. In the Weimar Republic, police were sabotaged, thwarted, weak. The church was incredibly weak at that time. There was a huge, like in Babylon, Berlin. Watch Babylon, Berlin. There was, which you shouldn't watch, but Babylon, Berlin is about the whole sexual, and there's a documentary too about, on Netflix. And I plan on watching it because it is about the 1930s, how Germany was totally open to sexual perversities and the church was nowhere to be found, which gave rise to fascism. Fascism always comes on the heels of socialism, communism. Fascism is just a the full power of communism. It is not the far right, as they say. The far right are the Amish. The far right is the Amish, for crying out loud. So this is a really great film. I was really just, wow. We were riveting. It gets you in really quick, low budget, whatever, but really cool too. Really cool survival stuff. I was so like, what's that film with Tom Hanks, when he's on the island? That one. It's kind of like that. It's really cool, like stuff like that. So it's really, really good. Again, and then they're talking. The premise is that in Spain they got a dictatorship, a regime, and there's no resources, so they're taking the children. Really great scenes or depictions of that. Very quickly and fleeting, but nicely done. Really about children, man. They had a really great scene about children. There is a violence. There's execution, so be aware of that. But they kind of it quickly moves along. You get that full emotional impact of it. But I really think this is an important film. This is a really good film. Nowhere. I really, man, it was really good. I just gonna highly recommend it. And the whole thing about resources is a socialist construct. God made this earth, and this earth is so full of resources. And the only reason, truly only reason, I'm not saying 100%, but the truly only reason people don't have resources is because other people control it. I know there's some cases where there's famines, but famines too can be prepared for. You can be aware, we made aware of if we were really good to each other. But the true nature of famine or starving or suffering doesn't come from the earth, because the earth is so bountiful. It comes from us. My sister was in Africa. She did a missionary thing years ago, and she came back. She said, how they complain how in Africa they're starving. And she goes, man, there was food everywhere. There was so much food. It's who controls the food. That's who controls the food. That's what the socialists and the mini tyrants, just stop oil. They want to control you. They want to control your freedom and your resources. That's why they're protesting. That's why they're being paid to protest, is so that they can, the globalists in their hearts, in their little tyrant hearts, want to control everything. And we need to rebuke them at all levels. And on YouTube, on this goofy little role-playing game thing, I'm doing my part to rebuke the desire to control each other. Stop controlling our light bulbs, our toilets, our cars, our jobs. Tell them, rebuke everyone that wants to control your life. On Twitter, you want government is the answer. You want to control people's lives. That's all they want. I mean, look, and I'm just did a quick search here. Of course, I do it's on Google. No wonder I got to change the search engine. But it's all like left-wing news. But the Dutch farmers are rebelling because the climate change. Climate change, and they want to reduce the methane, the farts of cows. That's so ridiculous. Cows and goats, animals, livestock is the freedom of us to have food. It is our freedom to have food. They can't control that, and it is so nutritious. And God says, eat meat. He made plants and seeds for us, but then after the flood, after the extremes of weather, hot and cold, that is described right when Noah lands. God says it's going to be hot and cold now, so it's going to be weather, it's going to be extreme. So the plants and the seeds are not going to be enough. You got to eat meat, and you can just tell in the hearts of these people, they don't want you to eat anything good, anything. They don't want you to have a barbecue, for crying out loud. They don't want you to burn gas or burn coal and make delicious barbecue. That irks them so much. They don't want you to have a day of rest. The Sabbath is so important because it's a day of rest. It's a day of barbecuing, and they don't want you to have that. That's why that commandment is so hilarious to me, and wonderful. It says you can enslave them for 6 days, but on one day of the week, you cannot enslave people. You got to give them a rest. And a dictator and a socialist, a tyrant, they can't stand that. They can't stand that you get 1 day to rest. They can't stand that. And God knows that. So that's why that's an important commandment to God. I know some of you all think, what's so important about that? It's so against a dictator, a master. In the last little bit here, in the end, he the beast, the whatever, he causes all the small and the great, the rich and the poor, and the free and the slaves to be given a mark on their hands or on their foreheads. And he decrees that no one will be able to buy or to sell except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is his wisdom. Here's wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number is that of a man, and his number is 666. So, we're going to be forced into a mark on you, on your body, means you are not free. And that's what they want. They want to mark you. Where am I going here? They want to mark you. They want to control what you can sell and buy. That means your livelihood. Please, this is a warning. A warning to myself. A warning to you all. Rebuke this type of stuff. Rebuke when Democrats say the government is the solution. They constantly say that we're going to give you this. We're going to give you jobs. We're going to give you this. Tell them, we don't want jobs from you. We don't want jobs from you. We don't want jobs from the government. We don't want your slavery. We're going to give you health. You have a right to health care. What do you mean a right to health care? That means the government forcing others to serve you. That's not what you want. You don't want a doctor that's in a prison coming out that you have to go to get your health. You want a doctor who you pay, who you work with, you and him or her decide what the cost of that is. Not the government, and they're using those terms too, a right. You have a right to health care, which means that's how pathetic their wording is. You have a right to kill your baby. So anyway, don't get me started. So Nowhere, wonderful film. Watch it. It's really cool. Man, I really enjoyed it. All right. Remember, in the game of life, roll holy dice.